my name is Jeff Hoagland, joined by Kent Kidder, and welcome back to our Scars of War Set 6 Constructed review here for Hex Shards of Fate. This video we'll be talking about the coins and Shardless cards. To start with, we have the Oyachit coins, which is a slow shard, so you do not gain a temporary resource the turn you play this, but you gain a permanent one. It gives you a ruby threshold and a charge, but that's not why these are interesting. The coins are all, I would just like to start out by saying they're all constructed playable, and you will all pick these with high priority and limited as well. They all have the ability where you can pay 2 and discard them from your hand to draw another card and gain some small effect. So the ruby coins here, they gain you a charge in addition to drawing you a card. There's a reason why they nerfed Angus, and this is part of it. If you're playing mono ruby, you probably want 4 of these in your constructed deck.
These are so well. Look at the rarity on this one.
Common.
I just want to. Like, everybody gets coins. Everybody.
Yep.
Yes.
And honestly, like Angus, I always struggled between like 23 and 25 shards. I think I would just snap, play 25 shard Angus with 4 coins and just like call it a day.
Mama Yeti all day.
Always play it
all
on
day.
4. Yep.
All day.
Just super excited. The next coin here, just to cycle through them.
Yeah.
We have the wild coin here. This one is one of the worst ones on the effects, but still just like the fact that it allows you to play more resources and not flood out for playing more resources is very powerful. So its extra effect in addition to drawing cards is it buries the top 2 cards of your deck, which does enable scrounge nicely. So like not all downside, but just like kind of medium.
Yeah, that's all that really it pays off there, but it's awesome to be building up the, I guess you would just say the velocity of your deck, you know, with something like your 7th resource. Don't really need that one there.
Yep. So next up we have the Necropolis coins, which they go ahead and they make your opponent lose 2 life. So again, we talked about playing possibly aggressive blood decks with Necrotic and Yodel. Yep. You make them lose 2 life, you draw a card. Like
Jeff, you make them 3.
Oh, no,
life?
Yodel is deal damage. This is lose
damage.
So
correct. But you draw a card, so who cares?
Yeah, and like Yodel again is one of those decks where like I always felt like I wanted to play 23 and 24 shards, but like you got punished for doing so. And now I'll probably just play 25 shards even and just like play a bunch of these.
Do you play 8?
Do you play 8 in Yodel? Yeah, just like Yep. And actually, so something that's fun to mention on these cards is because Hex changed their opening hand algorithm, 27 shards is the magic number, where if you have 27 shards in your deck, you will always have 2 or more shards in your opening hand every single time.
But if they're Necropolis coins, are they shards or are they spells? I don't know.
Correct, yeah.
I don't know.
Resources. You will always have 2 resources in your opening hand if you have 27 or more resources in your deck. So that's going to be the magic number that I'm going to be playing in a lot of my mid-range decks. Also, I would like to point out that Cottontail Explorer, he's a coin collector.
Oh, yeah.
So we get to play enough resources for the rabbit to be hitting 2 and even 3 resources consistently, and some of those resources are straight drawing us cards.
And then they get scrounged.
Sapphire coins here. Ready a troop you control, draw a card. Again, not an impressive effect, but again, just like the base effect of these, if there are any upside at all, is fantastic. Finally, Waku coins, which says gain 2 life. This is probably one of the better ones, actually. You know, just like an anti-aggressive card, cycles itself, etc., etc.
Mm-hmm. I'm definitely the most excited about. Oh, big surprise! The blood.
Yep.
Can I get my full art blood shards? Oh wait, we already have them.
Moving on from the coins to the shardless cards, which coins are technically shardless, but you know, whatever, details. We have the Emperor Shrine here, which does not give you a threshold, but it gives you a temporary and permanent resource and a charge. And then it says here, if there are 3 or more resources in your crypt, gain an extra temporary resource.
Troops.
Things that let you cheat the resource. Yes, troops.
Sorry, troops.
Yep. Things that let you cheat the resource system in games are really powerful, and I feel like the design team's done a really good job here with like walking that line where like you're never going to generate an extra resource in the super early game with this card. But in like the turn 4 to turn 5 to turn 6, this is going to jump you up and let you like double spell a turn sooner or like stick that fatty sooner than you would. So like it's really a good balance on that double resource.
While also not running into too much of a danger by not providing any thresholds with the card. So
it's going to be
well
interesting to see which if any decks want to play this, but it's definitely powerful and neat design space.
It also lines you up pretty well, for your extra land, additional land later on.
Next up, we have a rather wordful card. We have a 2-cost 2/2 with a major socket. We have MC Etcher of Nilzon, and you can see there he's etching a dark heart. This has a deck building requirement that says you could only include this in your deck if your deck contains 10 differently named socketed cards. But no, wait, there's more. Diligence.
No, wait.
Put a random socketed card from your deck into your hand. So draw 2 cards a turn. Major socket. Depending on what threshold you're working with. If you're in Ruby, this is a 2-drop that can put the Impulse Gem in it, and just draw an extra card every turn, on top of diligencing to draw an extra card every turn. So you could draw 3 cards a turn with this.
Yep. You can also slot this into any sort of tap or exhaust effects that are looking for the diligence. I'm very excited to see where this...
You could put the cultivation gem in this, so it accelerates you too.
Doesn't this just go into McBomus as a...
Remember, the deck building requirement is pretty huge. You have to have 10 differently named socketed cards in your deck. So
that's fair. Wait,
not free.
Socketed?
Socketed.
Wait. Yeah. Well, interesting. It's interesting. Well, you can't line it up with any requirement cards.
The real money is, can you fit this and a Crusader into the same deck?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Is where's the
overlap there? How many of your, because Runeir Hierophant is socketed and an Underworld. What are the playable ones that fit both the deck building requirements? Any rate, moving on. Next up, we have the Eternal Bastion here, which is a 5-cost 4/6 artifact. At the start of your turn, your charge power costs 2 less to use. And that doesn't say until end of turn. Right? I'm reading that right? It just says at the start of your turn, you get your charge powers cost -2 to use. I'm reading this as it stacks, and that's why I included it in here. Because I'm assuming that if we ready with this card twice, our charge power costs 4 less.
Or if we ready with 2 separate ones.
Correct. Yep. And then your Angus power is free, and you just 3 them every turn. Or if you ready with this in Wintermoon one time, your Wintermoon is free for the rest of the game.
No, that's my nightmare. Internal Bastion. You have unlocked my private segment of Hex. Purgatory.
So this card's sweet. If it doesn't stack, it's a little bit less good, but it's still, if this is permanent, this card is just aces. You can slide it into everything. 4/6 for 5 blocks Mama Yetis, blocks Crusaders. Sign me up.
It needs to stack, or Wintermoon will be the one recipient of the Eternal Bastion power spike. No. Anyway. I'm excited.
Next up, we have the Gravebane Vial. Fantastic card, just super reasonable. 2-cost artifact, deploy, draw a card. God bless. Just cantrips the turn you play it, replaces itself right away.
Void when needed.
Void, sacrifice this, void all cards in opposing grip. So it's a one-sided effect. It's not even symmetrical, which is awesome. And then it replaces itself right away. So you just get to play this out, replace it, and then just have it hang out until you need its effect.
In response to their Luchu,
it does not interact the way you want it there, because they're still going to flip 3 new cards into their crypt.
Sure,
but you can get rid of other good things, yeah. And it's not like it costs you anything other than 2 resources to do that, because it's replaced itself. But you can just let this sit and play and counter Rotten Rancors and other things like that.
Oh wow, yeah, that's the big upside. The Rancors. Yep, I'm excited.
Next up, we have what I can only describe as an Ali Andrazi card, Locket of Reflection. Whenever you play a non-resource card, if you have exactly 1 card with the same name in your deck, play that card for free.
Stop.
So my deck is all 2-ofs. And then when I get my Locket out, all of my cards double themselves. And the important thing to note here is it says when you play you play the other one.
Not
So that
resolve.
means even if they interrupt your first one, the second one still gets played.
And then
Neat.
you winter moon them back in.
And
Stop
then, yes,
it.
yes, you play both of your arcane focuses, then you winter moon them both, and you draw one, and then you play the second. Yes, it's beautiful, and I love it. Finally, we have the culmination of many, many sets worth of waiting. We have the Buffalo. And I couldn't talk about the Shardless card without talking about the Buffalo, obviously. Diligence, summon a random, non-unique Buffalo. And then, of course, based on the thresholds that you have, your Buffalo will do many things. They will drain life, they will strike swiftly, they will rage, they will fly, they will be very lethal. And just you don't with the Buffalo. That's all I'm saying.
No, you don't. I wish it wasn't unique so we could have like a Buffalo party, but I respect its uniqueness.
The last thing we want to mention in the Shardless section here in resources is that we're finishing out the cycle of wells here. We've got the Well of Conquest, the Well of Cunning, the Well of Instinct, the Well of Retribution, and the Well of Savagery. The most important thing to note here is that the slow shards are rotating out of standard, so a lot of these thresholds are still only going to have one duel, but in Immortal, we're going to have double duels for all of these and triple duels in the case of racial shards, so looking forward to playing with those for sure. As always, my name is Jeff Hoagland. I'm joined here by Kent Ketter, and thank you for joining us for the Shardless portion of our set review. If you're looking to buy any Set 6 cards, you can do so on hexprimal.com. You can use code Jeff5 to save yourself 5% at checkout, and be sure to stay tuned for the rest of our set review here. Don't go anywhere, folks. Thanks for hanging out.